Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Joe Knows the 2021 NFL Draft Class. And today we are covering the New England Patriots. And I have with me as a guest to discuss his favorite team, Matt, who is down under. He's one of our Toilets Titles contributors, and he's got a show that he does with Ben down in Australia. Of course, they're down under, and it's called Toilets to Titles Down Under Dynasty. You can usually catch the show on weekends, sometimes Monday nights. But whatever catch the show, it's great. Matt, it is great to have you. How's everything going?
Mate, it's going wonderfully well. I'm happy to be here. Excited to talk a bit of football, a bit of Patriots football, and just loving it.
Me
How
too.
about you, mate? How's things?
Good, good. As we were discussing before we started recording, it's like right now. I live in New Jersey. It's a little after 7 o'clock my time, and it's a little after 9 o'clock Matt's time. So we're like 14. There's a 14 hours difference here. I just woke up. He's getting ready to go to bed, and but we're both feeling good. We're just chit chatting about the Patriots and excited about the upcoming season for them. And Matt, thanks for coming on. I just want to point out to everyone that Matt is this man. He's in the future. He is 14 hours ahead of us. And originally, if I asked him if he wanted to come on, he said, "Yeah, mate, I definitely want to come on and talk about my favorite team." And I'm like, "Matt, how are you going to do that? You're in the future." And he said, "You know what, Joe? I've got the ability to tear through the fabric of space-time continuum, and I'm going to get myself there." So here he is. He kept his promise. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm really looking forward to doing this.
Thanks for having me. I'm pumped.
All right, all right. Hey, listen. So as you can see, Matt, I have his Twitter handle down at the bottom. It's at @FF_doormat. And again, he's a host of our Down Under Dynasty show, which he does with Ben as well. And I also want to give a shout out to another contributor of ours down in Australia. He does more of the behind the work scenes that makes everything work on the show, that makes us look better. And his name is Andrew Camp. He's also a big Dallas Cowboys fan. So maybe when we do the Cowboys show, I'll get Mr. Campy on the show as well. And I believe that Ben's a Steelers fan, right? Am I right about that?
Vikings.
Oh, Vikings. I had it wrong.
Vikings.
When I do the Vikings, I'll hit him up to see if he wants to come on, if he's got the time. So, but I'm looking forward to that. This is awesome. So before we go forward with the New England Patriots, who we are here to discuss today, make it the bells and whistles out of the way. You can follow the show on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Facebook, where we have two pages, Toilets to Titles and When a Family Breaks. And people, please hit and like that subscribe button. Help us out. It's important. Ask your significant other. Ask your kids. Ask your parents. Ask your, listen, if you had an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend who cheated on you 20 years ago, call them up, say, "Hey, listen, I still don't like you, but you owe me a solid. At least give these guys a thumbs up and subscribe to their channel. That would be great." All that type of stuff helps out. And I'll give you a very heartfelt thank you if you can get that done for us. On Apple, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Again, that helps us out a lot. That helps us promote the show, makes us look good. And on patreon.com, go to Patreon, where you can find out how to support the show at patreon.com/toilets to titles. Now, moving on to the main content. And just before we move on to the picks, I like to announce something or just give something away about every team that I like. And the New England Patriots, I have nothing but the utmost respect for a team that I feel has set a standard of excellence that is never going to be surpassed in our lifetime. It's something like 9 Super Bowl appearances and 6 Super Bowl victories over a 20-year period. The Belichick and Brady combination was absolutely the best of all time. And every single year they had that team. Even if you looked at the roster overall and you were like, "Hey, you know what? Maybe it's a little thin." You had Belichick, you had Brady. You always had a chance. You knew you always had like a 50-50 chance to go to the Super Bowl. I respect that. As a Giants fan myself, we hear Giants fans who at least grew up in the 1980s. We had Belichick as our defensive coordinator. We always loved that guy, and we still love that guy. So I have nothing but respect for them. And I realized that Brady's not on the Patriots anymore, but let's face it, same thing when Joe Montana went to the Chiefs. We all know that Joe Montana was a 49er. Tom Brady is a Patriot. I respect that guy. He is the GOAT. I absolutely love him. And I have nothing but respect for this organization and what they achieved. Your fan base, Matt, you guys had so much root for a long period of time. And I'm excited about this, kind of like, I don't know if rebuild is the right word, but retooling and life after Brady. I'm excited about it. How do you feel about the general direction of the team? Confidence, no
Yeah,
confidence? Just give me your honesty.
yeah. Look, I'm pretty, in Bill we trust, right? Like we've been pretty spoiled. He's done
Yep,
all the right moves, even though he sort of had some really bad draft picks supposedly, but you can't argue with the results, right? So
yep,
yeah, look, I'm pretty happy. I expect us to maybe be a sneaky 10-win team, make the playoffs maybe.
yep.
But yeah, I think it's more about the next couple of years really than this year. So yeah, look, I'm pretty excited. I was pretty happy with the draft class overall. Just see how these new additions sort of fit in, and if you get a bit of health, it's happy days.
I, I'm with you, man. Listen, first of all, I agree with you 100%. 100%, 100% believe in Bill. That's what I would. That's what I would do after everything this guy's accomplished. Don't forget, as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants, he won. He was a big reason why he's got two other Super Bowls on his rings when he was the DC of the Giants too. So this guy is always known what he's doing. He is a genius. Some see him as an evil mastermind. I don't. I see him as a genius who likes to push boundaries and looks for different angles, and I like that. He's an outside the box thinker, and I love you, Bill Belichick. If you're watching this, I love you, and I'd love to have you on the show. We here at Toilets and Titles would love to have you on the show.
I think we can squeeze him
Um,
in. So
who knows? Maybe we'll get
yeah.
lucky. Maybe we'll run in somewhere. I know I have some Giants who live in my town. Maybe one day, like I have some New York Giants who live in my town, and maybe one day I'll get them on if I ever have the guts to go up to them and bother them while they're food shopping. So moving on. Anyway, I am Cam Newton. We're not gonna really spend too much time on him. Just want to say from my point of view, I like that pickup last year. There's a lot that went wrong last year. He got banged up as well, or COVID, but I still think the guy's got a little something in the tank. But he's really not the biggest deal in the world anymore because, like you said, it's like I said, it's just kind of like a retooling or rebuild. He's not the man of the future. The man of the future was our first round pick, Mac Jones, quarterback. And here's my feeling. I'll give my take first, and then I'm gonna hand the mic over to Matt. Mac Jones, accurate quarterback. This was a pretty deep quarterback class in terms of being top heavy at least. And with Mac Jones, there was pretty much after Trevor Lawrence, the next three quarterbacks. It's kind of like take your pick. People had certain feelings about Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and they really could have went any one of them could have went after Trevor Lawrence. But Mac Jones, I thought was a great pick because this is a guy who obviously when he is a first round quarterback, and this is a guy who easily could have went top 12, top 10, could have went just like Justin Fields could have went like 11th, and they got their possible and I think a good chance quarterback of the future. If not this year, maybe next year. And they didn't have to give up anything to get this guy. And he comes from obviously a winning program. Belichick has obviously a great connection with Saban. I think if he had any hesitancy about Mac Jones, wouldn't even drafted. Belichick's not the type of general manager to take someone just to take someone. I think he would just roll with Cam Newton and worry about quarterback next year. But I like the Mac Jones pick. I thought it was great. I love that they didn't trade up to get him either. He just fell to them, and I think the sky's the limit with Mac Jones right now. What say you, Matt? What are your feelings on the guy? And how did you
Yeah,
feel when he was drafted? What do you think now?
I can't lie. I was riding Justin Fields to keep falling,
That's okay.
and I thought we had him. And then when 15 come around, I was just praying that we didn't trade back. So I was pretty happy when we did get Mac Jones. I think any
Yeah,
other year, I was saying off camera, any other year, I don't think he's going there at spot 15. He's probably going a bit early. It's just so many quarterbacks in this class that he sort of fell to us. I
yeah,
like it. I think Bill often says the number one thing he likes in a quarterback is accuracy. So Jones definitely ticks that box. A bit more of an old school pocket presence
yeah.
quarterback, which obviously has worked well for us.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah,
whether or not that's the Alabama receivers in the class that he was playing in, with those guys or not, we'll wait and see. But I was pretty happy to get him. I just wanted any of these quarterbacks, these top five. So the fact that we got one and we didn't have to give anything up, I think that's really good. And just on Cam
Right.
too. I think he's been such a soldier for us last year. He really just
Yeah.
said all the right things, did all the right things, worked hard, and
He's
I
class.
think it'll be the same again this year, and probably a good fit there with Mac Jones. Not really getting too much playing time, in my opinion, till maybe the latter half of the year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Mac Jones is in a perfect. That's a great point, Matt. I think Mac Jones, and I didn't think about that. He's in a perfect position because he doesn't have to start right now, which I think is usually a mistake to start a rookie quarterback immediately. But they've got Cam Newton, and Cam Newton's been a class act. That was such a great pairing of the two, Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. I love that, and but this gives him time to just kind of like. What was he, a 1-year starter at Alabama, I believe, and he put up phenomenal numbers. He was great, but but it was 1 year, and you do have to worry about that just realistically. And it's not just Mac Jones; it's with any young quarterback. And but so he's got some space to breathe here. I think he's in a great situation. And Mac Jones, let me tell you something. I agree. Listen, I like a lot of traits in different quarterbacks. You want to see a combination of traits, right, in a young quarterback of possible franchise quarterback view. You definitely like a guy who can at least scramble, like an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, buy more time for you, for a receiver to open up or something like that. But listen, quarterback, the most important thing you got to do besides protecting the ball, making sure you're not giving it over, is delivering the ball. And that's what you do. You deliver the ball, whether it's just handing it off or throwing it, 30 yards downfield. You got to deliver the ball to the receiver. You got to be accurate. That is the most important thing. Scrambling ability is, as long as you have pocket presence, that's number 2. But scrambling is, like number 3 to me. And really, it's your quarterback. You got to deliver the ball. Accuracy is the most important thing. So I'm on board with Belichick. And yes, I drink the Belichick Kool-Aid because I absolutely love that man. Thank you for being a great defensive coordinator for the Giants for so long, Mr. Belichick. Christian Barmore. This is a guy I love. And here's the theme. I didn't mention this earlier. Here's the theme. I try to develop a theme when I look at the picks for every team. You'll see some teams like the Cowboys went defensive heavy. The Buffalo Bills, who I already covered, they took a lot of picks in the trenches. So their theme was the trenches. The New England Patriots, they didn't really focus on any area. They took good players, I think, and it's all over the field. And the theme that I developed was that Patriots, damn, you took like 4 or 5 players that if the Giants had taken them, I would have liked it, because these were like 4 or 5 guys that I had my eyes on throughout, leading up to the draft. As I was reading up on players, and the first one is Christian Barmore, who, if you look at mock drafts for 4 months leading up to the draft, Christian Barmore was consistently a mid to late first round pick, and yet you guys got him with the 6th pick in the 2nd round. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I think we gave up a couple of fourths, right? We swapped picks and gave up a couple of fourths.
You got value.
I saw him mocked too as a day 1 pick in a couple of places as well, as you mentioned. So yeah, look, again, we had a bunch of picks in this class, so to give up a couple of later picks to get a stud, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you traded up to get a guy who easily could have gone anywhere from the mid first round to the back of the first round. You got, and for everything that I've read and my own opinion too, is that you got the best pure defensive tackle in this draft. There were some guys who were like defensive ends who you could rush from the interior on 3rd down if you want to. This guy was the best defensive tackle, pure defensive tackle in the draft. Here's a guy who clogs up the middle, who's great against the run, and who, he's not necessarily, it's not easy to rush the quarterback from, to sack the quarterback from the interior. But this guy he penetrates quickly, and he can get pressure on the quarterback. And from a defensive tackle, that's pretty much, the most that you can ask for. And that guy brings it all. And I thought this is very much a Belichickian pick. I know he likes his bangers on the inside, much like the Giants too. Like they kind of like to focus on their defensive line as well, and the guys in the middle. And Barmore was great value. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler soon enough, sooner than people may think. And he's a versatile player. And I thought that was a home run pick in the 2nd round. I absolutely loved it. Congratulations, Matt and the Patriots. Moving on to Ronnie Perkins, 33rd pick in the 3rd round. This is a guy I thought was a good fit for the Patriots defense. I don't think he was someone who necessarily. I think he needed to be in the right scheme to really, really succeed, and I think he's in that scheme. And this guy is a. He actually can play 4-3. He can play 3-4. It brings versatility, which Belichick and the Patriots like. And if you watch video on this guy, Ronnie Perkins, if you haven't seen video on this guy, go and watch it. He's fun to watch because this guy has a nonstop motor, and this guy hits. When someone gets hit by Ronnie Perkins, they feel it. They know it was Ronnie Perkins. He's hard. He's a hard hitter, and I like this pick a lot. Third round, I think, and like we were discussing backstage before we started recording that this was a deep draft, like you had pointed out, and we both felt that Ronnie Perkins probably in most other drafts probably would have went higher, maybe somewhere in the second round, or at least that's my opinion. But given this was a deep draft, he felt he had the third round, back end of the third round, and I thought you got great value, and you have a lot to look forward to this guy. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, look. Again, I was pretty happy with it. I'm not, a super draft expert type of guy.
It's okay. That's what I'm here.
But again, I did see him
not that I'm an expert.
mocked earlier. No, I did see him mocked earlier in a couple of places, and I know. Listening to Bill afterwards, he was talking about Mac Jones and all these guys, and they said, look, they just look at their board and take the best available on the board. It's never really a question of just need. So obviously these two, I think they're both steals. Interesting to see how he sort of fits in with other players, Winovich and whatnot there. I think the value is good, and like you said, Bill does get he gets these guys to play everywhere and contribute. And compete against each other just to keep the team competitive. So, I like it from that perspective.
I love nonstop motor and heavy hitter, and I love that combination. And you know what? This was the second pick that, again, going back to my theme, this is my second pick where if the Giants if the Giants had taken, say, like in the third round, I would have liked it because I really had my eye on this guy and I like him a lot. And the Giants needed edge help in this draft. They needed edge help big time for a long time. They got a little bit with Azeez Ojulari. If they had double dipped and taken Ronnie Perkins in the third round, I wouldn't have batted an eye. I would have loved it. And there is a little bit of another theme that's developing here. Just an interesting little tidbit. It means nothing, but I noticed the first two players were from Alabama, and then your next two players, starting with Ronnie Perkins, were from Oklahoma. And you got Ramondre Stevenson. My take on Ramondre Stevenson. This was the third pick that the Patriots took that I actually had on my eye for my team as well. This guy is the type of running back that I love. Don't get me wrong, I love Saquon Barkley when he's healthy. The guy has shown that he can do it all. Ramondre Stevenson is a banger. That this guy plays. He runs hard. If he's coming at you, if you're a linebacker, defensive tackle, defensive end, watch out. You get hit by this guy, you might get bowled over. And that's the type of running back that I like. He's got another guy with a nonstop motor, and I don't know if he's gonna. He could eventually wind up being a number one running back, but we all know the Patriots. They like a stable of running backs, which I like. And being that he's a banger, this guy's a ground and pound type of guy. And being in a stable of running backs will lengthen his career, protect his knees, and fewer concussions. But I think he brings the potential to eventually be a number one running back. Or if not that, be like that number two running back in a stable of running backs who can keep rolling out there and pounding the other team out. And I liked it in the fourth round. I thought that was a perfect spot for this guy, and I thought it was a great pick for the fourth round. What do you think, Matt? Your feelings on Ramondre Stevenson?
Yeah, I was reasonably happy with Stevens. I think wasn't a massive position of need, but it just made sense with the team. Sonny Michel's probably on his. I think his contract's probably going to get renewed. Damien Harris, in my opinion, is still a man there, and James White's just thinking about. But obviously, it's good to have these bigger backs. And probably once Cam stops being a goal line back and Mac Jones takes over, he might come right to the fore. Whether he contributes too much this year or not, who knows? Could be early pickings early on, same as Damien Harris. He didn't really do too much for the first year, but then his role increased. So I think that's probably what might happen with Stevenson. But I know a lot of people are really high on him. You know, a lot of talk is that he's going to take over that backfield and could be the RB1 there. So
Yeah,
it's good to see.
yeah, I'm high on him too, and I think that, like you had said, like, it wasn't necessarily a position of need, but when the guy is there, and obviously Belichick liked him because they drafted him. When the guy is there, I think this guy was a really fair pick for the 4th round. And when you could throw that guy into your stable of running backs, it's only. I think they really improved their running back core. I really do. And I really like that pick a lot. I thought it was a good one. And like I said, I like those heavy hitters. I like those. To me, that's NFL football. I don't want to see people get hurt, but I do like, just the violence at contact. I like seeing, if my running back is like Brandon Jacobs or even Ahmad Bradshaw back in the day, I like seeing them bowl over defensive players. So it's a lot of fun. So New England Patriots and Matt, New England Patriot fans and Matt, enjoy that bowling ball that you just picked up named Ramondre Stevenson. I think you're going to enjoy him a lot. And he will be, I think, really good. Like you pointed out, Matt, I think he's going to be really good on, 3rd down and the end zone. So I liked it. Cam McGrone, linebacker, Michigan. This is yet another pick. This is the probably the 4th and final pick for me. Like if he had fallen to my team, the Giants, I would have loved it. I had my eye on this guy as kind of like a sleeper linebacker. Not that he wasn't a known commodity by people who follow NCAA football and just or at least reading up on players going into the draft class. But so he wasn't exactly an unknown commodity. But Cameron McGrone was someone who I was like had my eye on for mid-round, later round linebacker who, in my opinion, can come in and I don't know if he's ever going to be a starter or at least say like a Pro Bowler. But I think this is a guy who can eventually become a quality starter. Maybe not a Pro Bowler, but a guy who can be a quality starter and basically someone you can roll out there and not have to worry about. And so I thought it was good value in the 5th round. And how about you? What did you think? And any other are you aware of like any other feedback from Patriots Nation on Cam McGrone at all?
Look, personally, I haven't seen too much of him, so I don't know really that much about him, other than another Michigan players, which is always a good thing for the Pats. But
I like their linebackers.
It's Belichick's got that habit of finding these guys and just they become not Pro Bowl players or like that, but just they do become integral parts of the team. So watch this space for McGrone.
Yeah. He's versatile. This guy's a good versatile player, good versatile linebacker, and I'm sure Belichick, the mastermind that he is going to find ways to use him. And if he doesn't develop into being an eventual solid starter, someone you can roll out there every day, every Sunday, and not have to worry about, I think he's going to bring good depth. And when you get into the 5th round, that's kind of what your expectation should be, unless this is someone who's really highly regarded but kept falling because of like a knee injury in college or something like that gave pause and concern to the front offices, and that's not McGrone. But this is a guy who does have a lot of potential, and I think Patriot fans should be very happy with him. Joshua Bledsoe. Now the next 3 picks, I don't try to pretend to be, I'm not an expert. I read up a lot on these players leading up to the draft. And I do feel like I know much more than the vast majority of NFL fans who usually just are familiar with the 1st round pick and who are, know some of the big names, but they're not really too familiar with most picks after that. The next 3 names I have to say were names that I had to do a little research on because they weren't names that I was all that familiar with myself. But Joshua Bledsoe, who you took in the 6th round, you had two 6th round picks, and he was the first one. He was pick number 4 in the 6th round. You took Joshua Bledsoe, safety out of Missouri. This guy's got some versatility too, in that he can play both free safety and the slot, and so he brings you some versatility there. And I like that a lot, especially when you get into the 6th round and especially the 7th round. You're looking for traits that you can work with. You're looking for intangibles that you can work with, and especially versatility. Because unless you're getting, say, like if you're getting like a shutdown corner, like say a Darrelle Revis, where you can just roll out there and just going to shut someone down. Okay, he's playing cornerback. You're not going to have him play safety. You're not going to have him play linebacker or anything like that. But when you can get a versatile player like Joshua Bledsoe in the 6th round, those are the type of traits you're looking for. And again, versatility is a key with the Patriots. And I like this pick. It's 6th round, and you're looking for value traits you can work with. That's what they got, and that's what I liked about this pick. And I think like quality depth will be his thing going forward. What say you, Matt?
He looks like a real Belichick pick, doesn't he? He seems to have that mentality that he'll do anything and play anywhere. So let's see how he develops with the Patriots. But yeah, again, these later guys haven't really seen much of him. Don't watch a lot of college football. Haven't seen too many highlights. But yeah, just excited to see how he develops.
Yeah. Listen, I would be too. And moving on to your second pick in the sixth round, Will Sherman, offensive tackle, Colorado, big boy, can play both sides of the line, most likely right tackle. But again, when you're picking offensive line, especially I should say when you're picking offensive tackle late in the draft, these are the guys that usually translate to being, developing into being a guard. That'll be like their best position, and which is probably Sherman's path to success would probably be as on the interior and probably as a backup interior guy. But you've got 5 players on the line every single play when you're on the field, when you've got the ball, and at any given time, you've got 5 guys. They can get banged up. They can get injured. That's my dog, Melvin. Sorry, but when he's making an appearance, if you can hear him, he won't listen to me. So if I tell him to shut up. But all right. Hey, sorry, guys. This is like reality TV. Okay, once we start recording, we don't stop. So, hey,
I got my headphones on. I got my headphones on.
I don't know if everyone can hear him, or if everyone thinks I'm just going insane and talking to the voices in my head.
No, I can hear him, but luckily my dog can't hear him. Otherwise, my dog would be going crazy.
That would be funny. From New Jersey to Australia, how great would that be? But Will Sherman, Will Sherman, Melvin's crashing my party over here. Will Sherman, offensive tackle. It looks, this guy is a guy who could be quality depth down the road, and that's what you're looking for. He's a 6th round pick. What more can he ask for? Matt, what say you?
Yeah, look, again, another one of those Belichick guys. He plays reportedly both spots of tackle, can play at guard. So could end up as a
versatility.
Center. That versatility again, which is what you want with this later picture. How much they contribute regularly, who knows? But they'll be there and just add that depth, which that's what you need.
Yeah, and hey, to our listeners, to our viewers, we love you. We just don't want you to think that we're just drinking the Kool-Aid. So we're not. Matt and I we're not here to say, Will Sherman is going to be your starting left tackle or your starting right tackle in a year. We're not saying that, but what we're saying is that when you get to the 6th round, your offensive tackle, it doesn't sound sexy. This is a guy who could wind up being a key contributor as a depth player down the road. And that's important. These guys get banged up too. You might have an excellent guard who gets injured in the future, but maybe you have Will Sherman down the road, maybe in a year or two. When that injury happens, this is a guy who could possibly come in with some seasoning, can come in and be good enough for a period of time. And that's what you're looking for in the 6th round.
Didn't miss a game in 3 seasons, never missed a game. So, that's sometimes availability is the best ability sometimes. So
I love that. And no, absolutely, Matt, you're 100% right. And I'm sure that was, that was a trait that for Belichick and the front office of the Patriots, it was like bling, bling, bling that was screaming at them off their charts. So and exactly availability, it's key. And he'll get some seasoning. Your final pick, 15th pick in the 7th round, Trey Nixon, wide receiver, University of Central Florida. What say you on this pick, Matt? Was this someone that you were aware of before the draft, or did you read up on him at all afterwards?
Yeah. Look, I haven't really seen much of him at all. Wasn't really aware of him. I said not much a lot of college football. So interesting to see where he fits with these new guys and what happens with Harry. So he'll be someone I'll be watching at training camp and see. There's definitely a bit of space open there with Harry, Aglahor, Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers. These aren't exactly out and out super class players. So for a youngster that can come in there and show a bit of initiative, maybe contribute in special teams as well. Who knows? The opportunity is there for him, but I haven't seen a lot of him.
Yeah, no, same here. And like I said, I'm not gonna. I do most of my reading up on players like 3 or 4 months leading up to the draft, and that's when I start reading up on a lot of players. I have to say, but I will admit, like Trey Nixon, I wasn't too familiar with. Please forgive me, he was a 7th round pick, but this, hey, listen, you're adding to stable of wide receivers. The Patriots are rebuilding their stable of wide receivers. As you know, like I said, this is kind of like a rebuild or at least a retooling going on, and they're adding to the stable of wide receivers. This is a guy, I'm sure, like you had just said, like you had just pointed out, Matt, I'm sure in the 7th round, this is a guy who is going to be, a special teams contributor. If he makes it to the team, he's a guy who's going to start as a special teams contributor. And I know that's huge for Belichick and the Patriots. We've got Joe Judge now. Like he came from the Patriots, and believe me, like we hear about special teams all the time over here as Giants fans now, and I'm sure that's where this guy is going to be, finding his niche, and maybe he'll develop into more. But I like that he added to your core of young wide receivers that you guys are trying to build over there. So it's only going to help. It's certainly not going to hurt. So I guess we'll start wrapping up the show here. That's your pick. The Patriots, I'm used to them having like 10 to 12 picks, and you only had 8. What's going on with that, Matt?
Yeah, look, I guess we used a couple of them to trade up to get Christian Barmore.
I'm joking. Yeah. No, that was good. Yeah. That was a good move.
Yeah, look, we did somehow get a couple taken off us. So
right. No, I'm just
thanks for mentioning it.
No, I'm just so used to guys having like 12 picks, and I was like, oh wow, only 8 picks.
Spygate too.
Right now, I realized that they traded up for Christian Barmore. So, but I love the values I love the value that the Patriots got, and like Matt had said earlier, and I'm a big believer in this. Trust in Bill, trust the process. I think you guys got really good value in this, in all over the field, in different areas of need, and I'm really excited for this draft class and for your team and for the Patriots. So, guys, New England Patriots, you did very well. Clap, clap, clap. I think you guys did great, and I guess we're going to sign off here. Matt, it's been a wonderful time. Thank you for coming on. I love doing this. Please tell Ben and Andrew Campy that I say hello. I'm not sure if you're going to be seeing them in person at all. You guys, Australia is huge, just like the United States. So I think you guys might be in different cities. But if you ever FaceTiming, tell them I say hello.
We'll do, man. We're on lockdown at the minute. We're in COVID lockdown, so I don't really see anyone.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. We chat all the time. So I'll let the boys know.
All right, awesome. And before we go, just stay with me for one more second as I just go through the bells and whistles real quick. Once again, as we end this podcast, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell, give us that 5-star Apple review for a shot at a free entry to our Frankenstein League. Our Frankenstein League is a draft fantasy league that we started for our listeners and that we participate with. It's apparently a lot of fun. It's my first time doing it. We've got some wild rules in there that we've made up ourselves, but I think everyone's going to enjoy it. Like I said, it's my first year. I'm looking forward to doing it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, but we've developed that for our listeners. We play with you. We participate. A lot of interaction, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So join that Frankenstein League. Come on board with us. We're a great bunch of guys. You'll like doing it a lot. So, but everyone, we're signing off here. New England Patriots, I loved what you did, and believe in Bill. Take care, everyone. And Matt, have a great night, my friend.
Thanks, man. Have a good day.
You too.